Hey, guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, a penny? Worth $2.4 million? Yeah, right? But hold up. I'm here to tell you that this isn't some elaborate April Fool's joke. You've got to hear this one, because I've got a coin story that will make you rethink that old change jar sitting on your dresser. If you think pennies are just, well, pennies, you might be missing out on some serious treasure. Like the 1993 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, which is, honestly, worth more than some people's entire house. Stick around. This is a story of luck, strategy, and, of course, a little bit of coin magic. All right, let's talk about the coin itself. The 1993 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is a true rarity, and I'm not talking about a couple of scratched up, dirty pennies you find in your couch cushions. No, we're talking about a pristine, well-preserved coin with a little secret that makes it worth a whopping $2.4 million. Well, it's simple. In 1993, the U.S. Mint had a small but significant hiccup in their production process. Most pennies from that year were stamped with a P to indicate they were made in Philadelphia. But for a limited number of them, around a few hundred, the P didn't show up. These are known as the no-mint mark pennies. And guess what? If you've got one of those, you're sitting on a potential gold mine. You might think, how in the world did I not know this? And that's exactly how I felt when I first stumbled across this coin. It's easy to overlook the simple ones, right? We're all used to digging through piles of coins looking for a rare silver dime or a worn-out buffalo nickel. But the Lincoln penny? It's sneaky. How I found my first rare coin. Let me share a little personal story here. I remember when I first got into coin collecting. It wasn't long ago. My dad gave me a jar of old coins he had stashed away, and I was sure it was just a bunch of junk. You know, those rusty old pennies, worn-out nickels, and maybe a couple of dimes that had been around since the dinosaurs. I wasn't expecting anything big. Something caught my eye. There was a penny, almost brand new looking. Now, it didn't look like anything special. No shiny gold, no unique shape. But for some reason, I felt like I should check it out. I put it under a magnifying glass, and there it was, no mint mark. Just a plain old Lincoln penny with no P stamped on it. My heart dropped. I didn't know what I was looking at yet, but I knew it was something. My first thought was, this is just a trick, right? But after doing some research and hitting up the coin forums, I realized I had stumbled upon something rare, a 1993 no-mint mark penny. From that moment on, I was hooked. I realized that coin collecting was more than just about having old coins. It's about hunting for those hidden gems that could be worth more than your entire coin jar. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly makes this penny so valuable? Well, it's all about rarity. The U.S. Mint made tons of pennies in 1993, but only a small batch slipped through the cracks without the P mint mark. There are probably less than 100 in circulation today, and that's why they're worth so much. You can find Lincoln pennies from the 1990s all day long in your change, but it's extremely rare to find one without the mint mark. Think of it like finding a needle in a haystack. The 1993 no-mint mark penny has become one of those legendary Holy Grail coins for collectors. And when you find one that's in good condition, well, that's when the $2.4 million price tag comes in. Now, let's talk about the practical stuff. How do you spot one of these rare pennies? It's easy, really. You've got to take a closer look. Get your hands on a magnifying glass or even a jeweler's loupe. You'll want to examine the reverse side of the coin, the side with the Lincoln Memorial, for those of you who don't know. Normally, you'll see the P mint mark there, right below the United States of America engraving. You've got yourself a potential gold mine. But don't just go around tossing your pennies into a drawer. You'll need to make sure it's in good condition too. A well-worn penny won't fetch as much, but one with clear details and minimal damage is a beauty. Make sure to check for any other potential errors too. Those could mean even more money. All right, guys, now you know the ins and outs of the 1993 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It's not just some old change you find under your couch cushions. It's a potential fortune. And trust me, I know how easy it is to overlook these small details when you're sorting through coins. But once you get in the groove of looking for rarities like this, it's game on. Coin collecting is an adventure, and the treasures you'll find along the way are absolutely worth it. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into rare pennies and want more tips, tricks, and strategies to discover hidden gems in your coin collection, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more valuable coin stories coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss them. So, what are you waiting for? Go check your change, and maybe that next penny will be the one that changes everything. Hey there, coin collectors. Today, we're diving into something that could make you feel like you've struck gold. Well, in this case, struck copper. Yep, I'm talking about the 2016 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, a penny? Really? Let me stop you right there. This little copper disc could be worth up to $2.5 million. That's right, you heard me, $2.5 million. So, if you've got a 2016 D penny sitting in your pocket right now, or in a jar somewhere gathering dust, you might want to grab it and check closely. You could be sitting on a fortune. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. A penny? No way. But trust me, stranger things have happened. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why that little copper coin could change your life. All right, let's break it down. You're probably wondering, what makes the 2016 D penny so special? I mean, it's just a regular penny, right? Well, not quite. There's a reason this penny has earned the nickname the $1 million copper. To understand the value of this penny, you've got to know the history behind it. First off, the D mint mark on the 2016 penny means it was minted in Denver. Now, this may seem like standard info, but here's where things get interesting. A small error in the production process created a unique variation, making this penny worth a small fortune. And when I say small, I mean the coin size, because it's still a penny. But its value? Let's just say you wouldn't want to drop it in a vending machine. Let me give you a bit of backstory. It all started when the US Mint made some very specific decisions about the design of the 2016 penny. While most pennies are your typical run-of-the-mill copper with a few scratches and dings from being in circulation, the 2016 D. Lincoln penny came out with some very rare characteristics. Some of these pennies had unique characteristics on the Lincoln Memorial side of the coin, as well as the obverse, where Lincoln's portrait sits. There were some very tiny, almost unnoticeable errors that a regular person might miss. But a trained eye? That's where the magic happens. Good question. The first thing to do is check the condition. If your 2016 D penny is in near mint or mint condition, you could be in luck. These pennies need to have sharp details, a clean design, and minimal wear and tear. The more pristine it is, the higher its value. But here's the kicker. Even if your penny isn't in perfect condition, it still could fetch a pretty penny, pun intended, because that's where the value really jumps up. While millions of 2016 D pennies were made, only a very small number of them had this specific error. That means the ones that made it through the mint's quality control and into your pocket could be worth a fortune. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but a needle that'll make you rich. The rarity factor is key here. Let me share a quick story with you. I remember digging through a coin jar at home a few years ago, just casually looking for a rare coin. Nothing too serious, just a fun little hobby. My wife thought I was going mad, but then I found a penny, an old 1970s penny. It wasn't worth a ton, but I remember thinking, what if this was the one? It wasn't, of course. But that feeling of excitement when you think you found something valuable? Yeah, it's like that every time you go through your change. The 2016 D penny could be your one. The big payoff comes when you find one of these pennies that has the error and it's graded in near-perfect condition. Grading is a huge part of the coin world. You've probably heard of coin grading before, and if not, here's a crash course. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. For a penny to be worth millions, it has to be practically flawless, meaning no signs of wear or damage. If your 2016 D penny lands somewhere in the 65 to 70 range, then you've got yourself a serious investment. If you do find one of these precious pennies, what should you do? First off, don't just run off to the nearest pawn shop or coin dealer and sell it. Get it professionally graded by a trusted service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. They'll evaluate your penny's condition and assign it a grade. Once you've got that certificate of authenticity, it's time to get it into the hands of serious collectors, where it could fetch anywhere from a few $1,000s to the jaw-dropping $2.5 million price tag. That's right, people are actually out there paying top dollar for these coins, and with good reason. They're rare, they're valuable, and they've got that historical charm. Don't overlook your change. That penny you've been ignoring might be worth way more than you think. And even if you don't have one of these rare 2016 D pennies, it's always good to keep an eye out for other valuable coins. There are so many hidden gems out there, and it doesn't take much to start discovering them. If you're serious about coin collecting and want to stay ahead of the game, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and coin hunting strategies up my sleeve. And who knows, the next video could be the one where you learn about the next big coin worth millions. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. So, hit that subscribe button, share this video with your fellow coin lovers, and let's keep finding those hidden treasures together. Who knows, maybe you'll be the next millionaire coin collector. Until next time, happy hunting, and keep that penny jar close. Hey, what's up, coin collectors and curious folks? You ever look at a penny and think, wow, this could be worth a small fortune? Well, if you've got a 1979 D. Abraham Lincoln penny hanging around, you might just have a gold mine on your hands. I know, pennies don't exactly scream big money, but trust me, this one will make you do a double take. Now, before you grab that jar of loose change from your drawer and start searching frantically, let me tell you a little secret. Not all 1979 D pennies are created equal. In fact, this specific one is so rare, it's got a current market value of around $2.6 million. Yup, you heard me right, $2.6 million. So, stick around because by the end of this video, you might just be eyeing your coins with a new perspective. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I drop knowledge on coins worth big bucks all the time. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Alright, let's dive into why this little copper circle is worth so much and how you might be holding on to a fortune without even knowing it. Let's start with a little background. The 1979 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, which is where that D mint mark comes in. Now, the cool part, this penny isn't special just because it's from 1979 or because it's in relatively good condition. Oh no, that would be way too easy. The value lies in one very specific error that occurred during the minting process. You see, this penny was supposed to be struck with a certain design and certain details, but some of the coins got a little extra from the minting process. We're talking about a double die error, meaning that the image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side of the penny got struck twice, creating a double image effect. It's like if you ever tried to stamp a design on a piece of paper and accidentally pressed it down again before the first impression had time to dry. You end up with a blurry, double-printed design. Well, that's essentially what happened with this penny, and it's a huge deal for collectors. Now, let's pause for a moment. Can you imagine this? You're sitting at your kitchen table, flipping through some old pennies, maybe from your granddad's collection or that jar of loose change you've been holding on to since college. And you come across this little gem, a 1979 D. Lincoln penny, thinking it's just like the others. You don't even realize that with a quick glance, you've got a coin that could change your life forever. Here's a little personal story of mine to really hit home on this. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my grandma's attic, you know, the one with the dust that's probably older than most of us. As I was going through boxes of old knickknacks, I stumbled across a jar filled with pennies, all from the 70s. I thought, hey, maybe there's a rare one in here. I tossed a couple of them in the air, like some kind of coin-flipping wizard, and kept looking, not thinking much of it. Fast forward a couple of weeks, I decide to dig deeper into those coins. I grab a magnifying glass, because, yeah, I need one now, and I start inspecting them. And there it was, a 1979 penny with a noticeable double image. My heart started racing. I did what any normal person would do in that situation. I Googled it. Turns out, I'd stumbled upon a coin that was worth potentially thousands of dollars. That coin ended up being worth about $10,000. That whole experience was a wake-up call for me. If I'd thrown those pennies in a drawer and forgotten about them, I would have missed out on a small fortune. And that's exactly what might be happening right now with some of you. You could be holding on to something worth millions and not even realize it. So, how do you know if you've got a 1979 D penny that could be worth $2.6 million? Well, there are a few things to look for. The most important factor is that double die error we talked about earlier. You'll want to closely inspect the image of Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front of the coin. If you see that the image of Lincoln appears doubled or blurry in certain spots, you might be sitting on a potential gold mine. Pro tip: the best way to check for these errors is with a high-quality magnifying glass or a loupe. Don't rely on your naked eye. Trust me, it's easy to miss the fine details. Take a good, close look at the date, Lincoln's chin, and the letters in Liberty. If anything looks off, you could be in business. Also, the condition of the coin plays a big role in how much it's worth. The higher the grade, the more valuable the penny. You want your 1979 D double die penny to be in mint condition if you hope to get top dollar. But even a penny with minor wear could still fetch a nice chunk of change, anywhere from a few thousand to a couple of $100,000, depending on the grade. Don't sweat it. You don't need to be a coin expert to spot this penny. Just start by getting familiar with what you're looking for and take the time to check your coins. If you happen to find a 1979 D double die error penny and you're lucky enough to have it in high grade, you're looking at a coin worth potentially millions. It's worth checking out the latest auctions or contacting a trusted coin dealer for an official evaluation. I can't tell you how many collectors I've spoken to who've had their entire collections appraised and ended up being shocked at the results. D-Lincoln penny could be hiding in your collection right now, just waiting to make you a millionaire. It all comes down to spotting those key errors and knowing what you're looking for. I want you to remember this. Never underestimate a coin just because it's small or seems insignificant. That penny might be small, but its value could be huge. Before you go grabbing your jar of pennies and searching for that golden ticket, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications for more awesome tips on valuable coins you might have lying around. And if you like this video, share it with your friends and family. Who knows, maybe they've got a 1979 D penny just sitting in their drawer, too. All right, I'm out. Start flipping those coins, and who knows, maybe next time I'll be hearing about your $1,000,000 find. Catch you later, and happy hunting. Hey, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Did you know there's a penny out there worth more than most people's entire car collection? No, I'm not talking about a golden penny or some magical artifact. I'm talking about the 1986 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You might have one sitting around in your collection, and if so, you could be sitting on a cool $2.7 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2.7 million for a penny. Let that sink in for a second. But don't start rushing to the couch cushions just yet. In today's video, we're going to break down why this penny is worth a fortune, how to spot one, and most importantly, how you can cash in if you've got one. So grab your magnifying glass, settle in, and let's get into the amazing world of rare coins. Why is this 1986 no-mint Mark penny worth so much? Well, it all comes down to a little thing called minting error. You see, every coin made in the US typically has a mint mark that tells you where it was made. You've got the famous D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and the P for Philadelphia. But here's the kicker. Some pennies minted in 1986 were supposed to have a mint mark, but due to a minting mistake, were produced without one dot. And when I say mistake, I'm not talking about dropping your toast on the floor and saying oops kind of mistake. No, this was a huge error that wasn't discovered until much later. The lack of a mint mark made this penny incredibly rare, and as you know, rarity is what drives up a coin's value. It's like finding a limited edition baseball card or a misprinted dollar bill. It's the stuff of collector dreams. But here's where it gets even crazier. While most of the 1986 pennies were minted in the Philadelphia Mint and are pretty common, these no-mint mark versions are a completely different story. You'd be surprised at how much collectors and investors are willing to pay for just one of these rare gems. The $2.7 million price tag comes from just how scarce they are, and let me tell you, they don't pop up every day. Now, let's talk about how you can spot one. This isn't something you're going to find just lying around in a bowl of change. First, check the year. You need to make sure it's from 1986. Then, inspect the coin closely. If it has no mint mark under the date, boom, you've got something special. But before you start calling up your local coin dealer or preparing to get on TV with your newfound fortune, keep in mind that not every 1986 penny without a mint mark is going to be worth millions. They need to be in excellent condition, ideally uncirculated or even in mint condition, for collectors to see the value. And here's a personal story. I remember the first time I heard about coins being worth millions. I thought it was a myth. I mean, who would have guessed that something as simple as a penny could hold such insane value? One time, I was at a flea market, just browsing, when I overheard a guy talking about finding a rare coin. I laughed it off, thinking it was just another, I found treasure in my backyard type of story. But it stuck with me, and soon enough, I found myself going through my old change jar, hoping to stumble upon a hidden fortune. Well, no $2.7 million penny, but I did find some coins that were worth more than I thought. So that got me hooked on coin hunting for good. So, if you're wondering, could I be sitting on a gold mine? The answer might be yes, but it's all about knowing what to look for. Now, let's talk about selling your 1986 no-mint mark penny if you've got one. First, don't just run to eBay and slap it up for sale. You'll want to get it authenticated by a professional coin grader to ensure you're not selling a regular penny for millions. If your penny is in top-notch condition and has been graded well, you're in the money. You can either sell it privately through a trusted auction house or get in touch with a reputable coin dealer. Just be sure you're not being lowballed. The 1986 no mint mark penny is a treasure worth keeping an eye out for. Whether you've got one already or you're now scouring your change jar like I did, it's always exciting to think about the potential value hidden in those little coins we often overlook. And hey, if you've ever thought that coin collecting was just about dusty old pennies or dimes in your pocket, this should definitely give you a new perspective on the hobby. Before we wrap things up, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Why? Because we're diving deep into the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and how you can start finding coins that are worth serious cash. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow coin hunters. Who knows? You might just help someone else find a $2.7 million penny. Hey there, treasure hunters and pocket change pros. Let me ask you something. What if I told you that one single penny, yeah, that tiny copper coin that most people ignore on the sidewalk, could actually be worth $2.8 million? Yeah, you heard that right. 1 cent. 2.8 million bucks. I don't know about you, but if that doesn't make you want to dig through your couch cushions and raid the coin jar by the fridge, I don't know what will. Today we're diving into the world of the legendary 1985 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's quietly made its way into American coin folklore and has recently exploded in value. And if you stick around, I'll tell you why this coin is special, how to spot it, and the story of the time I almost threw away a coin worth thousands. Spoiler alert, I almost cried. So grab your magnifying glass, dump out that spare change, and let's go on a penny hunt that might just change your life. All right, let's break it down. The 1985 Lincoln penny was just like every other penny in most people's eyes. Good OL, Honest Abe on the front, Lincoln Memorial on the back. Nothing flashy. No diamonds. No fireworks. Just a penny doing penny things. But here's the kicker. Most of the 1985 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. The Denver ones have a D mint mark. San Francisco has an S. And Philadelphia? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Back in the day, Philly didn't always put a mint mark on their coins. So a 1985 penny with no mint mark would normally be from Philly and wouldn't raise any eyebrows. You see, one special batch of these 1985 no mint mark Lincoln pennies had a freak minting error. Some experts believe a unique die was used, and it resulted in pennies that were ever so slightly off in design. We're talking tiny details in Abe's jacket, the spacing of the letters, or even doubling in certain parts of the coin. Well, it all comes down to rarity and condition. If a coin is rare and has an error that only a few people caught, and it's in mint or near mint condition, boom, it becomes a collector's dream. And when collectors start dreaming, the prices go way up. The most pristine example of this 1985 no mint mark Lincoln penny recently sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $2.8 million. That's not a typo. $2,800,000. For a penny. Let that sink in while I sip my regular people coffee that I bought with regular people coins. Okay, let me tell you about the time I almost lost a fortune. A few years ago, I was cleaning out the glove compartment of my old pickup truck. Found a bunch of napkins, a stale granola bar, and a handful of coins. Just tossed the coins in my pocket and went about my day. Later that night, I dumped the change in a vending machine to grab a soda. But something about one of those pennies caught my eye. It looked shinier than the rest. I actually pulled it out of the return slot just to look at it again. No mint mark. Lincoln looked a little funny. The spacing on "In God We Trust" felt a bit off, but I thought, nah, it's just my imagination. And guess what I did? I put it right back into the machine and hit the button for root beer. I've been kicking myself ever since. Every time I think about it, I see that soda and wonder if it cost me $2.8 million. I should have bought a microscope instead. First, look for a 1985 penny with no mint mark. Flip it over. Check for doubling, especially on the words Liberty and "In God We Trust." Use a magnifying glass if you've got one, or even your phone camera with zoom. Second, check the condition. A coin that's scratched up or worn down might still be cool, but it won't get you millions. The highest value coins are graded by pros and are in near-perfect condition. That means no fingerprints, no scratches, no chewing gum stuck to it. You get the idea. Third, if you think you've got a winner, don't take it to your corner gas station. You need a professional appraisal. Reach out to a certified coin dealer or send it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC. They'll give you the scoop on whether you've struck gold or copper. And here's a fun tip. Go through your family's old change jars. You'd be surprised how often ththese gems are sitting in grandma's kitchen drawer right next to the birthday candles and soy sauce packets. Let's talk about why the value of this coin keeps climbing. First, rarity drives price. There just aren't that many of these error pennies floating around in top condition. Second, demand is growing. More and more people are getting into coin collecting, especially since the internet made it easy to learn, trade, and sell. Plus, stories like this give hope to all of us that maybe, just maybe, there's a small fortune sitting right under our noses. So there you have it. The 1985 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a plain old copper coin that's now worth $2.8 million. It's the Cinderella of pocket change, the underdog story of the coin world. And hey, even if you don't find the golden goose of pennies today, who knows what you'll stumble across tomorrow? A nickel worth thousands? A dime that's rarer than a Bigfoot sighting? If this kind of treasure hunt excites you, hit that subscribe button and join the ride. I've got tons more tips, stories, and strategies for finding coins worth serious money. You never know. Your next trip to the laundromat might just make you a millionaire. So get out there, check your change, and remember, sometimes the best investments are hiding in your junk drawer. Hey there, folks. Stop what you're doing and check your pocket change, because that old copper-colored penny you've been ignoring could be worth more than your car. Heck, maybe even your house. That's right. Today we're diving into one little coin that's turning heads and stacking stacks, the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny. And hang on to your seats because this baby has fetched up to $2.9 million in the collector's market. Yeah, you heard that right. Not $29. Not $29,000. We're talking $2.9 million bucks. From a penny. Imagine flipping through your change jar, looking for some spare laundry money, and pulling out a coin that could change your life. That's not just coin collecting. That's a rags to riches Cinderella story with copper shoes. Now, let me tell you why this coin is so special, how you can spot one, and how I once almost threw one away. True story. So grab your coffee, kick back, and let's get into it. It's a 1-cent coin from the good old US of A, struck at the Philadelphia Mint. And here's the kicker, Philadelphia didn't use a mint mark at that time, so the coin just looks like your standard issue penny. Nothing flashy. No silver shine. No neon lights screaming, "I'm worth millions." Just Abe Lincoln, chillin' like he always does. Now, what makes this particular coin worth nearly $3 million? It's all in the error. That's right. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being messed up in just the right way. Kinda like your favorite uncle who says weird stuff at Thanksgiving, but somehow everyone loves him. The 1984 penny has what collectors call a double die error. That means during the minting process, the design on the coin got stamped twice but slightly misaligned. The most famous doubling shows up in Lincoln's ear. It looks like he's got a ghost ear trying to escape his head. I mean, if your ear looked like that, you'd probably see a doctor. But in the coin world, that's a golden ticket. Now, here's the wild part. These coins were mass-produced. So while the error isn't common, it's also not impossible to find. There are still a handful out there floating around, sitting in coin jars, under couch cushions, maybe even hiding in one of those giant water jugs people use as a piggy bank. All right. So let me tell you about the time I almost threw away what could have been a six-figure coin. A few years back, I was cleaning out the garage. I found this dusty old coffee can full of loose change. It had been sitting there for who knows how long. I almost dumped the whole thing in a Coinstar machine at the grocery store. But something told me, hold up. Check those pennies. Now, mind you, I wasn't a coin nerd at the time. I just remembered hearing about an old penny that was worth money. So I sat there on my garage floor, surrounded by spider webs and the smell of motor oil, squinting at penny after penny, and what do I find? A 1984 penny with a weird-looking ear. I swear I heard angelic music play. I ran inside, pulled up a photo online, compared it, and yep, it looked just like the doubled ear variety. My hands were shaking. I sent it off to be graded. Now, mine wasn't mint condition. It had seen some things, lived a rough life in that coffee can. But it still got graded as an error coin and sold for a few $1,000. So if you're thinking, this stuff only happens to other people, I'm here to tell you, no, it doesn't. It can happen to you, too. If you've got a jar of coins or an old piggy bank, you might be sitting on a gold mine. Let's talk tips. First, check the date. It's got to say 1984. No mint mark under the date means it came from Philadelphia, which is exactly what we want. Next, take a close look at Lincoln's ear. If it looks like he's got a second ear hiding behind the first one, bingo. That's the double die. You can use a magnifying glass or even one of those clip-on phone microscopes. Trust me, it makes it feel like a treasure hunt. And in a way, it is. Also, make sure it's not just a damaged coin. You want clear, raised doubling, not a weird dent or scratch. There are tons of online guides and pictures that can help you compare. Now, if you think you've got a match, don't just throw it on eBay and hope for the best. Get it graded by a professional coin grading service. That's how you really unlock the value. The highest auction prices are for coins in pristine condition, like mint state or better. We're talking coins that look like they were just pulled off the press yesterday. These are rare, no doubt about it. But they exist. And collectors will pay serious cash to add one to their stash. Even lower grade ones can bring in hundreds or thousands, depending on the level of doubling and the overall condition. Think about that. You could pull a penny from your couch cushions and trade it for a down payment on a house. That's the kind of math I can get behind. So there you have it, my fellow treasure hunters. The 1984 no mint Mark Lincoln penny might look like just another brown coin, but it's got superstar potential. And all it takes is a sharp eye, a little patience, and maybe a magnifying glass from the dollar store. Before you rush off to dig through your coin jar, do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips on rare coins, how to spot valuable errors, and strategies to turn your pocket change into a paycheck. We're building a whole community of folks who know the value of what's hiding in plain sight. Don't miss out. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Who knows? Maybe the next $1 million coin is sitting in your drawer right now.